We wanted to announce that Norwalk is going to be the recipient of several millions of dollars through the work of our budget last year, our biennium budget that the state of Connecticut passed in the legislature. I'm going to back up for a second and just say that for many years, for me anyway, one of the goals that I've had as a legislator is to work on ways in which we can reduce our property taxes, our burdensome property taxes here in the city of Norwalk. And I say that because of the fact that really one of the only ways in which the city of Norwalk or any community across the state of Connecticut can raise funds is through our property tax system. And so for many years as legislators, we look for ways in which we can help our communities and make sure that they have other ways in which they can raise funds or have funds delivered to them in order to help, whether it's to fund our schools, help senior citizens, help with redevelopment or other ways. And one of the ways in our biennial budget this year is through our sales tax sharing that we're going to be doing. Norwalk has been the recipient over the last few years of many dollars for redevelopment projects, whether it's for Waypoint, whether it's for Wall Street Place, whether it's down in the area of the Sono collection, whether it's for Norwalk Community College, other places. We have received a lot of funding for that. However, that is all indirect ways in which we can help keep property taxes down. One of the ways in which is direct is through the work that we've done in our state budget last year that is going to now help continue to keep property taxes down thanks to the efforts of Mayor Rilling and our Common Council members who worked so hard this year to keep our mill rate increase at almost a historic low. And the mayor and the councilman can talk about that a little bit more if they'd like. So this is really important for us because over the biennium, over the 2 years, two-year budget, Norwalk is slated to receive an over $800,000 increase in education cost sharing dollars, and through our sales tax sharing, again, which is something I fought for many years, Norwalk is slated to receive over $6 million in funding through that. And that is going to go directly towards education. That's going to go directly towards property tax relief. It's going to go directly towards a lot of the priorities that the city has. I know the mayor has and the council has as well. So we're happy to continue to work in partnership for that. And so that we can give relief to those who need it, and we can find that additional funding source to provide relief for residents of the city of Norwalk. We do, as a city, provide many services that the communities around us do not provide, and this will be one additional step in order to help with that. So I'm going to ask the mayor to speak, and then I'll have my colleagues speak, and then have Councilman Livingston speak as well on this if they'd like. And but again, this is really important news for the city, and it goes to the partnership that we have between the city of Norwalk and the state legislature, and working together so that we provide that relief to our residents, and that we are continuing to keep our eye on development, redevelopment, and also keeping the taxes down. Mayor Rilling?
Thank you, Senator Duff, and certainly appreciate the opportunity to come here and thank you and the legislative delegation for working so hard to bring money into Norwalk. As Senator Duff mentioned, relying on property taxes is very, very difficult for our residents to see their property taxes go up every year. We work very hard to keep taxes as low as we possibly can. This year, we are going to be we have a public hearing tonight. We're going to keep our budget down and the mill rate increase to the lowest level in over 10 years and perhaps longer. But it takes a lot of energy to do that and a lot of cooperation. We couldn't do it without our state partners, and we couldn't do it without the responsible people on the council and on the BET who recognize the fact that many people are living hand to mouth simply because they are living on a fixed income, and their property taxes preclude them from enjoying the kinds of things that most people take for granted. And we do not like to increase taxes, although people recognize that taxes are necessary in order to provide for city services. So when we get word from the legislature that we're getting an increase from the state that'll help us keep taxes down, it's always good news. And again, I just want to thank Senator Duff and thank the other legislators that are here with me for working so hard on behalf of Norwalk and bringing this extra money in. It just helps us in our overall goal of keeping taxes as low as we possibly can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Chris?
Thank you very much. First of all, I just wanted to thank Senator Duff for never giving up on the property tax sharing issue or the sales tax sharing issue, because this is something that he's been working on for a long time. It's something that I feel, and I think we all feel as a delegation, that is bring some equity to towns certainly down here in Fairfield County, but specifically in Norwalk. We also it also feels good to make sure good to put the funds in the hands of responsible people like our mayor and our council to see that our schools are funded the way they need to be, but also to make sure that other areas of our infrastructure and important parts of other important parts of our town are addressed. So I just wanted to say thank you for the Senator Duff's leadership on this, and I will now turn it over to Representative Morris.
Great, thank you. Yes, and I join in thanking Senator Duff for his leadership on this issue. I remember my first session, Senator Duff this was one of the issues he had been pushing for a while. I said, gee, that's something you got to join, you know? And some people thought, that'll never happen. But you know what? We're able to stand here today to say, listen, we got it done. So certainly, Senator Duff led the way on this. Many Swedish joined in those efforts. But it's good to hear from the mayor recognizing as well that this does make a difference here for property owners in the city of Norwalk. In addition to the increases that we're doing to ECS. Certainly there's always more that we want to do, and we will continue to fight to do. But I think we can stand together as a delegation, proudly say, this is my 10th year, and all of our years there, we have always made advances to education cost-sharing formula. And in fact, under this mayor, and you said it properly, Mayor, working with Common Council, BET, and whatever, we've been able to keep property taxes down here in the city of Norwalk. So great to be part of this delegation in this effort. Thank you. And thank you again, Senator Duff.
Thank you. I just want to echo the remarks of the mayor and the other here and thank Senator Duff and the members of the legislature. We on the council are extremely cognizant of the taxes our citizens are paying, and we're doing everything we can to keep them as low as possible. We very much appreciate the efforts of Senator Duff and the representatives to help us do that and to provide funding for our schools and to provide the necessary services for our citizens here in Norwalk. So thank you very much for your help.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. Just lastly, to wrap it up, I want to just mention that there is such optimism right now in the city of Norwalk with this mayor, this council, all of us working together. Yes, there's a lot of projects happening, but there's a lot of projects happening because of the fact that people want to invest in the city, and they know that we're all working together to make sure that things are happening and things are moving along. The mayor's working hard to keep taxes down. We're working hard to deliver and bring funds back to the city, even under very difficult times for the state of Connecticut. But we're working to continue to make sure that we keep our priorities that are out there. I'm just so thankful. We have a strong mayor. I'm very glad that we have a great council, and very glad that we're able to continue to work together, and that the citizens I speak to in this city just have a real sense of optimism right now on a lot of the things that are happening. And I think that a lot of that in large part is due to the fact that we're all working hard together, and that through those efforts we're able to produce good results for the citizens of this city. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. The sign will continue to do the talking. No.
Since this is sort of like a Democratic love fest this morning, I'm wondering what prompted the need for this news conference? What's the motivation behind it? Did you feel there was some need to send out some sort of message towards the Republicans? What is the purpose of this?
No, not at all. The reason for this is because it's now budget time for the city,
Right.
because of the fact that this new idea that we passed in the budget last year of sales tax sharing is going to be delivered to the city coming up soon, that we want to make people aware of it. We want to, again, speak of the cooperation between the city and the state that's helping to keep property taxes down so that people are aware of the efforts that the mayor is making and Also aware of the efforts that the state delegation has done to help keep property taxes down too, that we have this new revenue stream that's coming into the city that is different than we've ever had before, so that it works in concert, the city and the state together in order to produce a good benefit for the residents of the city.
So essentially, this message applies to every municipality in the state?
Yeah, everybody's getting a little bit different funding, but everybody's getting something.
Okay, and these funds don't face jeopardy because of the current budget situation?
This is a real priority for all of us, for myself and the Senate President and the Speaker of the House and the House Majority Leader as well. So it's something that we have resisted by others, and other overtones, especially by the Senate Republicans and the House Republicans, to cut. They wanted to cut this since day one. We have resisted those efforts and will continue to resist those efforts.
Okay, but it's not a done deal?
Nothing's a done deal, but we're going to continue to resist this because we know how important this is for the communities and for the mayor and for our constituents.
Okay, and how much?
But I want to be very clear. I'm not evading your question. This issue is this promise we made is very important, and we intend on keeping it.
And what sort of funding are we talking about as regards Norwalk? What amount of money?
Like I said, it's an over $800,000 increase over 2 years for ECS funding, and it's over $6 million increase. It's over $6 million of new money on the sales tax sharing.
$6 million to Norwalk.
Yes.
Separately is ECS funding.
That's
That
separate.
is not coming out of the sales tax
Correct.
revenue?
That's just in the budget. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so as I said, even under the very difficult times of the state over the last few years, since the Great Recession, education funding in all areas has continued to go up. And on top of that, so we've seen education funding continue to go up under difficult fiscal challenges of the state, because that's a priority for us in the legislature. In addition to that, we've taken a piece of the sales tax and now diverting that to communities in order to provide property tax relief, which equates to over $6 million for the city of Norwalk.
Okay, and my understanding, the last I read, it sounds like there might be a delay in the legislatures, particularly the Democrats, coming up with the final figures, what they're going to go for a state budget. Is that correct?
No, there's going to be, we plan on voting on our deficit mitigation package next week,
Right.
probably Tuesday. We are extending, because of the work that the chairs of appropriations and finance have done and others on the deficit mitigation package, we're providing, and because of the fact that their deadlines are next week and we're planning on voting on something next week, we are providing an extra week for the committees to finish up with their work, because they're going to have a lot of bills to consider, and if we are in session, they're not able to do their job, they won't have the adequate time to finish up.
And deficit mitigation will primarily be accomplished by layoffs?
That would be probably, that's up to the governor. He had talked about some layoffs, and that's you'd have to ask him about that. We're cutting in other areas of the budget right now for deficit mitigation.
Mayor, the Board of Estimates having a public hearing tonight. It's still up in the air as far as the amount of funding for Board of Ed. Is there any?
No, it's not really up in the air any longer.
Okay.
We were $600,000 apart.
Right.
I put back in $300,000, which was half that amount, with instructions to Mr. Barron, my new finance director, to look through the budget, comb through the budget, and find out where we can find some other money. He's done that by going out to bid, rebidding on our fuel consumption and our fuel dollars, and we found a total of $485,000 that we saved now through various accounts and various rebidding. So we're going to put the other $300,000 into the Board of Ed budget. We're exactly what they asked for, without raising the cap above what we had already approved.
I see. So the board should be satisfied now that they've been fully funded.
Well, I think everybody should be satisfied. We've done our due diligence. We've worked very hard to get this done. We've put the money in place, and so now we're just looking at special ed and how we're going to try to fund that.
Okay, so that separate entity, that 3-year program that the superintendent called for, that's still up in the air?
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out how we're going to fund that and looking for information regarding the SPED program and how the money is going to be utilized and so forth. We also want to make sure that we don't impact the minimum budget requirement in the state of Connecticut because once we fund the Board of Education a certain amount, next year we can't give them less. We have to give them that much or more. And so we have to be very, very cautious in how much we give and how it's allocated and without impacting on the MBR.
Okay, and just as a side note, I went by Roosevelt School today. It looks to me like they started construction outside. Do you know if that's the case?
Yes, they're starting construction to build the extra 6 classrooms,
Right.
and hopefully down the road perhaps 2 more.
Thank you.
Just the last thing I'll say, and I'll say this as the mayor's leaving, is that now that the city has produced over $800,000 increase in education funding, and the mayor has done a great job of fully funding the Board of Education, we now expect the Board of Education to produce results, and I think that's a fair expectation for those of us in the city and those of us who are parents in the school system.
That's a message to the superintendent?
No, just they've got to receive their money, so they have a plan. We want to see the results of that plan. All right. Thanks.